Hi, folks. Thank you for coming to our presentation today. I'm here to talk to you about digital transformation in the chemical industry and a topic that's near and dear to my heart, which is how you can deliver really pragmatic solutions for process improvement that put you on the right track for digital transformation, but most importantly, yield you really, profound benefits today. As for me, I'm the Director of Digital Transformation Sales here in Europe. I'm very passionate about technology, and I have experience in the mining and the chemical industry, as well as the enterprise software and industrial automation. For me, I've always been at the intersection of how analytics can help you drive long-term competitive advantage in your business. And with me today also is my colleague, Mike Howells.
Thank you, Max. My name is Mike Howells, and I'm the Business Development Manager for Fluid Control and Pneumatics. I've been with Emerson for 24 years in various roles from engineering. A lot of my time has been spent in sales and especially in the process sector, which is obviously involved in the chemical industry. Again, I'm very passionate about the industrial Internet of Things and digitalization. I'm very happy to be with you today. So, as we look at the challenges and impacts in the chemical industry, one of the recurring challenges is timely identifying or predict abnormal conditions and faults to avoid major consequences, catastrophic failures, unplanned shutdowns, or process slowdowns. We also need to improve functional safety and reliability of an asset, as a single shutdown can cost millions of euros in lost production, downtime. This can account for a large number of shutdown days unexpected. Finally, as we move to an era where fugitive emissions are being targeted in the way of fines and sanctions, end users are expected to do all they can to prevent this and challenged to find ways to eliminate or minimize the risks. In later slides, we will address these challenges with case studies and solutions.
And that brings me to one of the topics of why we're all here today talking about digital transformation, and that is the massive impact that the COVID-19 pandemic has had on the way we work, not just in an office environment, but also in a plant environment. As data from the World Economic Forum shows, it's wildly accelerated digital work processes, remote work, and task automation for companies within advanced manufacturing, including chemicals, energy, and general process industry. In short, the challenge has forced companies to adapt rapidly to new ways of working that require us to do what we've done previously in a new way with less contact and the same people in a new environment. And so you might ask, how can we rapidly do that? How has Emerson been involved in helping companies achieve this? And the answer to that is the broad Nomura-aligned portfolio that we have for digital transformation. One of the key benefits here is it really helps customers target exactly the challenges that they have with the right products and not require you to build up an entire product ecosystem. And so in that way, we work with other vendors, other suppliers, other technologies that you might have on site to seamlessly integrate our intelligent field devices, pervasive sensing, transporting data over secure architecture into platforms and software that allow you to take action from the data, and also to help support customers on those journeys. We have advisory and acceleration services, as well as cloud and remote services. So for me, the takeaway here is we have a fit-for-purpose solution depending on the exact need and pain point that you have, and we work tightly together with our customers to make sure that what you get is not just a run-of-the-mill, one-size-fits-all solution that we hope will work, but it's exactly what your needs in the plant have, and lets you deliver that kind of immediate impact on your operations. And as a result of that, I like to say we don't call it the digital camera anymore. We just call it the camera. And that's because it's just what works. It's the standard now. And so a lot of the solutions that are a combination of our pervasive sensing and software and wireless connectivity are extremely economical. So here you can see from pump monitoring to steam trap monitoring, mobile workforce and corrosion monitoring, we have extremely attractive payback periods because they start delivering results immediately. And due to the wireless nature and the easy implementation, it's able to get into your process and used by your people very, very rapidly. So how does this all come together and how do we architect it? We like to think that one of the foundational steps is constructing that IIoT network and field network solution. Now, you have two networks that you can create in your plant. We have a wireless mesh sensor network with our pervasive sensing and a Wi-Fi mesh IT connected network, which together yields an IT-OT network connectivity for your plant that leverages the sensor data and built-in security and analytics and lets you securely and reliably access data inside your plant from both an IT environment as well as an OT environment. And critically here, when you're thinking about a project that you need to implement quickly, it lets you do so flexibly without having to plan out how you're going to wire the entire solution. And that really impacts the breadth and depth to where you can put your sensing devices, from wireless vibration monitors, radar level monitoring, pressure gauges, acoustic monitoring, temperature, wherever you might have a need in your plant to take another look at a process that you have or a piece of equipment or a general asset or the entire facility. We have solutions that let you get the data point right there off into your software environment and start taking insights out immediately. So we call that the See, Decide, Act framework, where we can impact workforce effectiveness, emissions, availability, and heat rate by putting the right sensors in the right place, getting it out to our analytics software, and then connecting it out to your internal services or to Emerson services or cloud-connected services. And this brings us really to what I think is one of the most important access points, and that's putting your data to work. So we call this our optics platform, and it's a suite of solutions that we have that really lets you take the data to the next level and make it incredibly useful. So our optics portal is primarily focused around workforce enablement and getting the data to the right person at the right time. Analytics lets you dive deep into processes and see what's really going on there, what might not be working optimally, and what is. And then the data lake is a secure data architecture that allows you to put all your data into a common environment and have it accessible by various people throughout the plant or in the IT environment. And that brings us to the last point, the data connectors, which lets you integrate it into workflows at SAP, IBM, and any other cloud applications that you might have. And so we're not just a device company. We can help you take the data out of your plant and put it in the environment where it becomes immensely useful. Diving into optics, it's a simple, easy to use application. You log in, can check your unhealthy assets, check for bad actors, look at existing PMs, and prioritize your work and take action. This is really about driving impact on the plant floor and getting the data to the right people so they know what action to take immediately, rather than having to look around and first validate what's going on. Next, over into optics analytics, this is our extremely powerful AI machine learning model, where we can take the raw data, put it into our predictive models that have been fed with lots of experience and lots of data on common assets to recognize patterns and to support your decision making. And because we've fed it with a lot of data from previous assets and models, we can detect events early, and we can do fault tree models and automate root cause analysis to quicker get you to the insight that you need on what action you need to take. Lastly is the Plant Web Optics Data Lake. Again, this is a common data architecture that lets you take data from safety and emissions, operations and asset health, automation control and safety systems, as well as various IT/OT data connectors. Put it into one common environment so that you can access it with analytics and machine learning applications you might have, put it into an IT environment, or visualize it and put it to your mobile workforce. And the key here is you can have one data environment, one source of truth that various personas, both within the plant and outside of the plant, can access and have a common language that they speak about what's going on. So some of the key benefits is it can integrate diverse types of IT/OT data, structured and unstructured, contextualize it, handle large volumes, and as well as secure and optimize the data storage in a way that is extremely beneficial to your data bandwidth. And so the outcome is we have great IT/OT visualization, and you get the data that you want, where you want it, when you want it. Of course, it has a huge impact on your data architectures. OT architectures today are siloed and hard to manage centrally, with essentially lots of work that has gone on trying to figure out specific routes for specific applications from specific data sources. And the OT data lake greatly optimizes that by having a central storage. Already, we've proven integrated solutions with data lakes as a backbone on projects exceeding worth of 110 million at 55 sites, and that includes areas in agrichem, life sciences, and specialty chemicals. And so broader for our portfolio, some of the case studies that we've had where we've driven an impact in chemical industry is with Harcross Chemical. They had to sample, the drain valves needed to be opened at the start of each batch. And so that was an extremely time-consuming process, and you needed to make sure that all the valves were in the right position at the right time. So we were able to implement over 4,000 wireless position monitors, and we could avoid 3 product releases and reduce need for visual inspection, which really drives an impact on how you can run your plant. And then at Hubei, Yuha, we could drive operational efficiency and stability, because in PVC production, we required rapid and frequent product changes. So by integrating our process and batch control AMS system, we were able to drive 10% plant efficiency and a 15% reduction in maintenance cost. Lastly, at Lubrizol, we improved the batch operations by implementing one of our batch analytics systems, and we were able to increase 30% of batch cycle time reduction and avoided 5 hours per batch. So you can see these solutions, when you start implementing them together, have real operational benefits and can yield real impact. So on the kind of enterprise-wide side, for our optics analytics for a customer, we were able to implement a full-on plant-wide energy optimization dashboard by taking the models, complex rules and events, root cause analysis, and workflow engine to take all the data related to energy consumption, put it into one place, and allow you to see through root cause analysis where your inefficiencies were coming from and drive a consistent action plan to reduce it. Overall, for this customer, we were able to realize $22 million in savings, and as well as giving increased visibility to senior management to drive faster and informed decisions. So you can see we drive huge impacts, but you can also start with small practical steps today. So my colleague Mike Howell will introduce some of those, and I think they're really exciting.
Thank you, Max. So as we say, one of the challenges that we have is understanding the health conditioning of an asset to maintain the uptime. So as we mentioned, maintaining actuation of a process valve is at the center of a plant's performance. Unplanned shutdowns can create significant losses. Business tolerance for downtime is at an all-time low. So when we're looking at this, facilities experience an average of 27 days of unexpected shutdowns a year. And as we mentioned previously, a single shutdown by a single isolation valve can cost up to 1.3 million a day. And that's just in lost production. So what we need to do is we need to improve the visibility of a valve package condition by continuously monitoring the performance and diagnostics. And this is in a real-time scenario. And again, because this is integrated into the Emerson portfolio, it's a very familiar interface. So those of you who've used other sort of packages with this type of installation, you'll be very familiar with what you're faced with in terms of the visual display. So impact on operations, setting up planned alerts directly by maintenance staff can actually be sort of reactive as opposed to sort of ad hoc, and improve decisions around displacement and replacement of devices and systems. So, you know, when you've got that real-time data, you can make the decisions. And then using condition-based monitoring of actuators or valves, it actually improves maintenance from reactive to proactive, potentially reducing unplanned downtime by up to 36%. Again, when we're looking at this, as mentioned previously, the Topworks DX Series switch box, that gives you the ability to remotely monitor the condition of a valve package or asset. It delivers analytics on an AMS or Delta V workstation, and because internally it's a HART device, it can also interact with other devices. So we can also interact it with the wireless HART. So the analytics that you see, again, is very familiar with the Delta V system, a workstation, or even a Trex, the handheld communicator. So as you can see, when we look at the portfolio, it's very simple. It drives right down to the end. So again, when we're looking at controlling emissions, again, one of the challenges we have is that accidentally operator errors leads to the likes of theft hatches being left open and causing unwanted leakages and emissions. It's estimated that a single site experiences at least one unwanted leak a year. And again, as you mentioned previously, strict regulations and fines can cost a facility anything in the region of €15,000 per day. So what we have is a combination of a target magnet with the go switch proximity sensor, and it only aligns when the hatch is fully closed. So eliminating false positive signals, because again, if that device is not shut down fully, then we don't know, that the hatch can still be open. So looking at the impact on operations, we eliminate improper closing of a thief hatch, which can cause leaks of volatile chemicals. And by ensuring the signal is fully sent, it will show that the hatch is open or closed. So in effect, we're eliminating emissions caused by a thief hatch due to unsealed thief hatches by 100%. So again, when we're looking at some of the examples of where we've had success with these, we can see here that the Topworks DX Series analytics is analytics and diagnostics which can be delivered via a handheld communicator or at a workstation. We can look at things like valve state position, transition dwell times, last open and close time, internal device temperatures. So using all this analytical data, we can actually see whether there's been changes with the device. And again, as mentioned, that one of the largest plants in North America had implemented this. And what they've done now is that they've standardized on the HART 7 DX. And as we mentioned, when they're repairing or reworking any valve packages, they can actually install this device and it future-proofs their system. Because again, with all plants, not every single part of the plant is connected wirelessly or with a HART 7 connection. But as mentioned, with the handheld communicator, they can retrofit a standard switch box with a HART-enabled device. And then with a handheld communicator, even though the HART is not connected, they can still use the diagnostics locally. And again, with that diagnostics, there's other advantages. So the plant, this particular plant, found a use for the internal tags. So again, they had situations where they removed the sort of lids off many of the standard packages. And what's happened is when they put the tags back on, that they can obviously change the lids, put different lids on the packages. But because it internally with a HART 7 device, the tag is local to that device, there's no danger of that happening. So as you mentioned, with the HART 7, this can be hardwired or connected through a wireless thumb and mesh networks. So use cases for this means that you can future-proof your plant. So even if your plant is not currently having this type of integration, maybe an AMS system at the end, it's not fully connected, then again, with this type of installation, that'll give you future-proofing. And when we're looking at the chemical tanks, a lot of chemical tanks have tank farms, and these tank farms have hatches for regular operation and maintenance. Farms can be a small number with just a few tanks, but some of these tank farms can go into hundreds in some installations. A lot of plants are historic and can be a distance away from the control room. The Go switch is a no-powered switch that can be fitted to a wireless transmitter or hardwired. This can minimise the potential of fines and give options to improve a plant's impact on the environment, as this switch and this solution can be retrofitted. So now what we're looking at is the call to action. So talk to your stakeholders, talk to your key stakeholders. What we want you to do is to look at all areas of your plant. So we just talked about a little bit of some of the solutions, but as Emerson, we've got lots of different solutions that we can offer.
And that brings me to one of the things that I would like to discuss here is that, you know, this isn't a journey that you have to walk alone. There's a variety of people within the Emerson network who are really incentivized just to help you. You know, they're not just interested in making another quick buck. They're really interested in making a long-term impact and helping you become a top quartile plant, helping you getting on the right track to a digital transformation, because we're long-term invested in the success of our customers. So our local sales representatives are well armed to help you get initial insights, but we also have groups that are dedicated to helping you on a digital transformation journey. These include our professional services organization that can actually walk through an entire digital maturity model, identify where steps you are in and what capabilities you might need to reach to get to the next step, and then help you prioritize that in a business case by business case environment and walk the line to becoming a fully digitally mature organization. Lastly, we also have solution architects who help put together the various parts of the entire Emerson portfolio into a solution that is exactly what you need for the needs of your plant. And so that can encompass both Emerson solutions and non-Emerson solutions, depending on what the needs might be. But what we see is basically what is the biggest blocker to a digital transformation is actually making the decision to take a step. And so that's why we really encourage you to talk to your internal stakeholders and figure out what some of the pain points or unmet needs might be, and then take that information and reach out to us and let's see how we can take a next step. But there's big benefits of getting started on that journey. As you recall, when we talked about that layering where you build up from the wireless network and the pervasive sensing into the software solutions, you know, you don't have to go into that order. You can go straight to establishing an OT data lake network where you can start bringing that data into a common environment. And the best time to start that is, you know, years ago, and the second best time is today. So that's why we really encourage you to take some action and figure out what you can do. But you can also start small, be it with thief hatch monitoring, or with Topworks, or with any of our, you know, solutions around perhaps cold box monitoring or steam trap monitoring. What it enables you to do is get an impact in that specific problem case you might have, but you've set up a wireless network to enable it, and that can let you expand to other applications later. Or when you start taking data into a common environment, you've just set yourself up for success for implementing a great analytic solution later on down the line. So my message to everybody would be, there's no wrong first step. Thanks to the Nomura-aligned portfolio, and whichever step you take, you've not made kind of fully committed action around a specific digital transformation. You've left yourself options. You've built the foundation to take the next step in a flexible environment, because we believe that your operating environment is going to change year by year, just like the needs of the world is going to change year by year. So we built our portfolio to enable you to act on that. So with that, I'd like to, you know, thank you all for attending this call. We've got lots of other exciting Emerson content around the show. So make sure to check into those presentations, check what innovative solutions the other business units and teams have been putting forward. And most importantly, don't forget to reach out to us and see what next actions we can take. So thank you all, and enjoy the rest of the ACAMA presentations.